Hi there. In this quick video we'll be taking a look at this street light. It's a 50 watt variant from HOFF. I think that's the model number right there. I'm not sure if you can buy it under this brand anywhere else apart from Romania, but you will find it from stores in China if you look for this exact shape. Because, yeah, 99.9% it's a rebranded Chinese product under this name that is the name of our Romanian retailer Dedeman's products. A bit more info right here. But apart from that, nothing more, nothing less. I want to also show you where's the luminosity. So they are telling us 110 lumens per watt, so that means 5500 lumens, but they don't write this in here. On the website that's written, but in here on the specs that's not written, which I don't really like. But anyway, so I bought the weakest variant because I plan to run this by my own money, because the municipality in this area is quite crap and they didn't install street lights. I installed one, a solar one, that's working perfectly, but I want to install a second one in another area on the street. And I'm going to run my own freaking wire to that, but that means I pay for it, so I decided not to go for a 100 watt variant if I can get away with a 50 watt variant, because in the winter that will be going quite a lot of hours and electricity is getting more and more expensive. So what I want to do now, this was at a discount, I think 14 euros or dollars, something like that. Aluminum, really nice. It overall looks really good with nice screws in here. Plastic looks decent, lenses on the LEDs, so they spread the light more on this direction, which is perfect. But I want to turn it on. I will not touch it because this cable doesn't have a grounding that I'm connecting in here. And see if it actually gives me the impression that it has enough light for what I need. If not, I don't think I will return it. I will still probably keep it because it was cheap enough and I can use it in the yard. Okay, we are ready to turn this on at 5500 lumens as they write on the website. This should output a lot of light. Well, it is outputting quite a good amount of light. Let me turn off everything in this room. Is it as much as they say or not? Quite difficult to guess, honestly. You know what? I can make a sort of comparison to have an idea. I know that this projector from Einhell, I will link it in the description, really has a lot of light. Gives a really good amount of light. It's quite strong. And let me turn street light on. Yeah, it adds a lot to it. You can see if I put this projector, it adds a bit, but not much. The street light gives way more light than it gives. Maybe you can see in the shadows that the one that this casts are way weaker than the one that the street light casts. Okay. I don't think it's 5500 lumens, that's for sure, but still a decent amount of light. Let's do a quick test and see if this is actually 50 watts as it says. So 0.214 amps. Oh, it's going up a bit, so 218 milliamps at 230 volts. Let's do a quick calculation and see what we get. So this is the quick calculation. It's about 50 watts as they say. But yeah, that depends a lot on the efficiency of the conversion, because this has some kind of power supply inside for LEDs for sure. But anyway, yeah, it's what they say more or less. What I want to do now is actually take all of these screws out and see what power supply we have in. Yes, this will for sure void our warranty. I don't even care about the warranty for this price. Even this LED panel itself without a power supply and the housing itself, aluminum, it's good enough for me. But before taking a look inside this, check out today's video sponsor, PCBWay. And with their help you could basically build your own custom light if you wanted to. PCBWay can help you with PCB prototypes, up to 14 layers, even PCB assemblies, FPCs, which are flexible PCBs, advanced PCBs up to 30 layers. They can do CNC for you in all kinds of file formats, accepting even archives. Only limit file size below 200 megs, which is quite acceptable. They can also do SMD stencils for you. More than one version. And they also have a quite interesting module store where you can get lots of electronics for your projects. So thank you very much PCBWay for sponsoring this video, and let's get to what we are working on. Presumably we'll find some sort of seal. Yep, here it is, the white one all around. White reflector. And damn it. Okay, this sucks. Power supply is directly in here. But that's not so bad, because if I can figure out at what voltage it's running, I can just cut the traces, and run this with another power supply. But I need to figure out how they connected these LEDs. And I see pairs of 3 LEDs in series. Okay, is this everything in series? No, pairs of 3 LEDs in parallel, and then everything is in series. This is a fairly high voltage. Let me count LEDs. Checked again, and there are actually 24 sets of 3 LEDs. I want to measure the voltage, but I don't want to poke in there while I don't have the ground connected to this housing. So as long as it's plugged in, I'm not touching anything. Yeah, let's turn it on and see what voltage we get. Ooh, 143 volts. That's a freaking lot. So each of these LED sets, basically each individual LED is getting 6 volts. Are these somehow dual LEDs in each of these little chips? Let me turn this on again and try to zoom with my phone on them. Maybe we can see 2 individual light sources in each LED. Back to 100 milliamps, and let's go to freaking 5 volts. Either we make this light up or we damage it. This should be reverse voltage, and now we should be correct voltage, and they start to light up. What chips are these? And I see 2 light sources inside of them. They are running at 6 volts. What the hell? Yeah, you can see them now also. So yes, they need 6 volts. Each and every one of them needs 6 volts to run. I think this is a ceramic PCB. I can scrape at these traces and connect them in a different way. I can actually connect them in a totally different way and lower my voltage and cut this, so I'm not using the power supply itself. but I will leave it in here, so if any point in time I want to repurpose this and run it directly on 220 volts, I can go back to that. But I can rewire these things and run them at a lower voltage. How could we split this? And then again, it's not a good idea to put too many of them in parallel, because they can become unbalanced and get into thermal runaway and fry some of the LEDs. And this will be in a not easy to reach position on that light pole. So, Okay, so thought about this situation quite well, and I had a breakthrough. Doesn't make sense. I could make this thing work on 24 volts. For example, if I want, I would just need to solder wires and add some resistors to limit the current, and they would work. But for me, this looks really nice. It's quite nicely made. It's a good design. It's a better product than I expected for the price. So it doesn't really make that much sense for me to modify it, honestly. So I realized I actually can use it in the yard in another place. And because I'm getting older and I'm realizing basically time is limited, and even if you try to do a lot of things, you will not be able to ever do all of them. It's better to not waste your time when you don't need to. So modifying this would waste a lot of time. Would work in the end, but would waste a lot of time. And there are off-road car projectors that work directly on 24 volts. And they output a lot of light, and it's spread out. It's floodlight, exactly like this thing somehow outputs. Although this spreads it a bit more on this direction than on this, but I think I can find a car projector that does the same. So it doesn't make sense to modify a perfectly working thing that actually has a quite nice design when I can buy another for that and actually use this for something else. So what I would still do, this is a bit too bluish of light. It's 6500K light, so it's cold white. I'm thinking I'm going to color a little bit the LED chips themselves. Yes, we will dim the light also a little bit, because these are basically colored filters. Yes, in time the color might disappear depending on what substances are in this thing. If it disappears, yeah. If not, great, whatever. I'm not bothered about it. So let's make this a bit more yellowish. Okay, so I tried a few variants. These things, not much goes onto them. A lot of things don't stick. So this one, permanent marker, red one, seems to stick. So yeah, I think that's good. Let's plug this in. Yeah, I think we are good. It's more pinkish than orangish, but I think it's good enough for me. So I will make all of them like that, and the light color should be less white. I ended up needing to do a bit of a combination, I think, between this one and this one, because this one made it kind of pinkish, plus this one kind of orangish in the end. Yeah, this is what I managed to do, and it emits smoke because it's cooking the the marker on top of them until it fully dries. Yeah, it's not pure white anymore, it's a bit orangish, which is kind of exactly what I wanted. Just so you see I'm not crazy. If you ever wondered how warm versus cold white is given, it's by the color of the phosphorus itself. But I cannot change that, so I'm putting a filter on top, and I decided to also put a bit of yellow on these things. So hopefully we are a bit towards orange. Let's close this up. And let's see what we got at the end of the day. Ignore the flickering, that does not happen in real life. Let me turn off all my lights. Yeah, this is much warmer than it used to be. Okay, I'm happy with the situation. That's good. Running it to heat up to dry all that marker that I put in there, even on the lenses. If you want to see how to connect it, it's basically use exactly the colors as they are given to connect, and yeah, that's about it. As for temperature, it's around 60 something, 62 degrees in the area with the LEDs, so this does heat up a fair amount, but then again it's not meant to be run like I am, so all the heat that's being pushed down, it's actually coming right back up at it. So yeah, outside should be a way better situation than I have here. But anyway, so it gets to about 60 something, 65 maybe after a good while. But that shouldn't be really dangerous for the LEDs. I think it's okay. And I kind of forgot to show you, deep in there it has a seal for the cable itself, so no humidity should enter through this part of it. And obviously to tighten it onto a tube you use the two included screws. And that's about it for this video. This thing looks much cooler like this, 100 cat eyes. But yeah, I toned it down a little bit. Again, you could buy it in a warmer white just by paying double. I decided not to pay double. That's about it. So hope this video helps you, in which case please give it a like, check out my other videos, and see you in the next one. Bye.